Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Tuesday, August 29th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Indiana game is in 4 days. The game against Michigan in 88 days. A little later on today, we are going to be kicking off the game week coverage in Columbus with the Ryan Day press conference. That'll be happening around noon today. We will probably have a little bit of a live show for you after that. That's the plan, at least for now anyway. So you have that to look forward to. But today, you're going to be hearing from the other head coach of this weekend's Ohio State game. That is Indiana head coach Tom Allen. He does his press conference on Mondays, so great news. We can get you a whole bunch of Indiana preview, get you a little look at things from the Hoosier side of things this morning. You're going to be hearing directly from Tom Allen on that and much, much more. So I guess let's start with just some big picture stuff with the Hoosiers. Where are they feeling most comfortable right now in terms of positionally, and where are they maybe still figuring things out a little bit?
Kind of throughout camp, as you guys have asked, and we've talked about different positions, I think the area that kind of sticks out, numerically is our defensive line and just having some new guys there and the way those guys have performed during camp. So just excited to see those guys play. I think that's going to be one of the strengths of our defense. And then, our receiver room has a lot of depth to it. I like that room a lot. Running back room, I feel the same way about. And getting those guys through camp, working through injuries and nothing serious there, but just, everybody has little things along the way that you work through, but I feel good about where we're at with those guys on those positions and need a big week this week. Obviously, we're still in game week mode for preparation for that and just continuing to build our offensive line. The depth there is always big. It's always important. Like the progress those guys have made, but let's continue to work in that area as well, and then just keep building. I think the biggest question mark is just a lot of new faces in the secondary, so they'll be tested at a very, very high level right from the get-go. So definitely excited about that. The kicking battle is really kind of an ongoing thing. Guys have definitely made a lot of progress there. Excited about where we are. I feel way better about that than I did a couple weeks ago. And those guys are thought performed very, very well in our mock game situation where they get a chance to really all their kicks are game situations for them. So I thought we did respond well there. Special teams was crisp and sharp. So got to play our best football right out of the gate.
Just want to repeat part of that quote for you there. Quote, I think the biggest question mark is a lot of new faces in the secondary, close quote. Hoo boy, that could be interesting for Indiana on Saturday. Young defensive backs facing the Ohio State wide receivers. So when you've got new faces in your secondary and you're about to deal with Marvin Harrison and Emeka Ibuka and Julian Fleming and all the rest, how do you prepare for that?
Well, yeah, I think it's all you got to do is put the film in and watch it for a little bit, and then they've added some new talented receivers to the group that was already very, very talented. So, but I think it's like anything else, we have to play extremely well within our system, and we have to do what we do well. And they're going to have some catches and get some yards. You got to be able to do a great job of preventing the explosive plays. I think we all know that. But saying that and doing that is not as simple as it might sound. And so, but at the same time, you got to play your system, and we got to do a great job of like we always do within our scheme of doing disguising things. And if they know what you're in, it's not usually good for the defense, And so they've got such talented players. Now they're going to have a new quarterback, whoever it might be, and I'm sure we're expecting to see them both. And so to be able to adapt to that. But, it's once again, it goes back to what I even said with the quarterbacks. It's preparation. It's confidence. It's playing at a high level of hey, you know what? They make a play. We got to flush it. We got to play the next play. We make a play ourselves. We got to flush it. We got to play the next play. And that maturity. And we do have some new faces, but some of these guys have played football, quite a bit. So they may be new to us, but not new to the game and not new to college football. So, but they also do have some young guys who are going to be playing more than they've played in the past in the secondary. So, but yeah, they'll be tested without question, and they'll be put in a situation where they're going to have to play really, really well. And they're also going to have to have really, bad memory. Something happens, you just got to flush and you got to go, and we respect them without question, but we got to play our game. We got to play to our standard, and we got to play really good football and defense.
Just at the end of last week, the Big Ten passed a rule about teams having to put out an availability update 2 hours before kickoff. This is something that Ohio State's done for a couple of years now. It's been very useful in terms of just kind of knowing what to expect in terms of, hey, this guy who has been kind of banged up a little bit this week is maybe out, or maybe going to be a game time decision, or is good to go. Now the rest of the conference is going to be doing that as well. The subtext there, in case you're not picking it up, is, hey, sports betting is legal a whole bunch of places. So you want to have sort of information parity in the sports betting markets. So what does Tom Allen think about that new rule?
Yeah, so it was obviously discussed, several weeks ago within the Big Ten in our meetings. And so obviously we were expecting that to happen. And so that was really driven by our leadership in our conference. And so I think the coaches we had some questions at first, just how it was going to look and work. But I think it's not real specific. I mean, obviously, if a guy's out, he's out, and that's one thing where if you list him as out, then he cannot play. And that's one thing that's different, instead of just saying, hey, this guy is probable or whatever, you just in these situations. And then the second category is a guy that's, could play, may not play, and so I think it's good. I think it's good for all of us to be able to have that clarity and that openness about it. And there's been a couple teams over the years that have done this. I know Wisconsin did this and has always done this for a while since I've been here. And so we did play them. The couple times we played them, they would put theirs out, and so. But I think that in regards, I think everybody knows why they're doing this. And so I think it's something that is good, and we're all on the same page. And we wanted to kind of be a leader in that. And as a conference, and so our new commissioner really pushed for this, and I think he was right, and I think it's the right thing to do, and I think our guys, that might affect our players, so, but we have a systematic way of communicating that and putting that out before kickoff, and I like the fact that everybody's doing the same thing.
When you were Indiana and you were facing Ohio State, things are always going to be very challenging, even in the best of times, and this year, there's some added little wrinkles, because Ohio State's got some new faces on the offensive line. They're going to have a new quarterback, or perhaps two new quarterbacks this weekend. So how does Tom Allen and the Hoosiers, how do they change their approach to game week with all those new faces and some of the uncertainty on the Ohio State team?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because, you think about those, the tackles, the center, and the quarterback. That's really kind of the triangle of how things operate, for an offense. And, once again, talented players. We've been through this before where they have a, new quarterback, and it's whoever's going to be is going to be a very, very talented player. And they're going to have some new guys at other positions, but they're going to be very, very talented new guys, even though we haven't seen them play, a lot for Ohio State. So, but the unknown to me, when you think about quarterback-wise, we've had, I think this is not very many times that we had a quarterback, that we don't really know a lot about, and so there's not a lot. You have to go back to high school film, for a lot of these guys, for both of these guys, so I think that makes it unique, and they're also different quarterbacks as well. They have different skill sets, and so both can throw the ball extremely well, and one's more athletic than the other one is. From a running perspective, both can elude things, so that does create challenges without question, and so, but we got to have a great plan for that, great plan for both, but they have a standard of how they play, and you got a consistency in what they're doing offensively, so that's going to make it very, you just gotta go out and you gotta out compete them, and for balls and for plays and to making tackles, and we got to tackle extremely well. They get you in space. They got great athletes, and that's where they really put a lot of pressure on you defensively. So, but yeah, from a position perspective, that's going to have to be in-game adjustments. We'll see how it unfolds and who they're using and how they're using them, and how that chooses to be able to modify what they do. But their system is what it is, and they do a really good job. So you guys got to at the end of the day, you got to stop it.
Ohio State is not the only team in this game replacing its quarterback. There is going to be a new guy under center, or perhaps more specifically in shotgun, for Indiana as well. And the Hoosiers have decided who their starter is going to be, but they're not going to say whether it's going to be Tennessee transfer Taven Jackson or Brendan Sorsby. Now, both of those guys are redshirt freshmen with just a handful of passes at the college level. So either way, how do you get that guy ready to face Ohio State in his first career start?
It's preparation. Preparation creates that confidence. There's nothing you can do. You got to play the game. And there's no other way around it. I think that's experience has taught me that. I think it's somewhat obvious in a lot of ways, but at that position for sure, you just got to be in the fire. You got to be able to have those opportunities, and so, but preparing in every possible way. And I think that's a big emphasis. I sit in almost every single quarterback meeting and have the whole entire fall camp and just the work that they're doing, and even like we think about, hey, Monday's an off day. Well, it's an off day for everybody but the quarterbacks, and that's how they operate. That's how they think, and the way they study, feel, and prepare, and all the work that they're doing together. And I think that's huge. And so, but I think it's just you prepare and you leave no stone unturned, and that the competence that you have in your position and your skill set and what you're doing and running the offense. I just want them to be confident and play with decisive decision making. And you try schematically to help in that regard. You want to make sure you set them up to have the best success possible, and obviously, but they still got to get in the fire and play against a really, really talented defense that's big and fast and physical and has really, really good coaches, and they're going to be very well coached, and so yeah, that's, to me, is just a matter of it's preparation. That's the best answer I can give, and that's going to be key, and it's going to reveal itself, and we got to do a great job as coaches of putting it in the best position possible.
Tom Allen and Ryan Day have had kind of an interesting back and forth over the years where Indiana has kind of just been one of the, small speed bumps on the way to very big 11, 12 kind of win seasons for Ryan Day in the past. But then you also had the 2020 season where Indiana was the biggest threat to Ohio State potentially winning the Big Ten Conference. So what is Tom Allen's thoughts on Ryan Day as he gets ready to face him this weekend?
It amazes me, sometimes when you hear some people's comments, about whatever, and all they've done is win a lot. And just go through and you study what they've done offensively. It's impressive, and the way they continue to recruit. And obviously he was obviously, given a great situation without question, but that's hard to take it and elevate it. They were one makeable field goal away from playing for a national championship, and so I have a ton of respect for him. I think he's done a tremendous job there, and I think he's a first-class person. I think he cares about his players. I think he does it the right way. And I just think he's special. I really do. And so, yeah, a lot of respect from my end from him and the way he does it. And obviously, being a defensive guy and he's an offensive guy, and he calls our plays. And so I just think that he's sharp and just really maximizes. Obviously they have great players, and that's part of it too. But also has a system in place that's puts you in a lot of conflicts defensively. So, but yeah, he's done a tremendous job. Obviously, a lot of pressure. They're expected to do certain things every single week, and some people look at that and think, no, that's hard. That's hard to maintain that and then elevate it. And obviously, the expectation for them is to win a national championship. And so until you do that, you get questioned. So, but at the same time, you can see it, and they just continue to get better and better, and they may have their best team that he's had since he's been there.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Tom Allen obviously was a guy with a little bit, Ohio State fans probably have a bit of a mixed history with him. Not real big fans of him when he was lobbying for Indiana to get into the Big Ten championship game because some teams canceled on Ohio State back in 2020. But now a little bit of a different spot for Tom Allen heading into this game with Michael Penix playing in Washington and a whole lot of roster turnover heading into a season opener against the Buckeyes. So you will get to see Tom Allen and his team as well as Ohio State coming up this Saturday at 3:30. That game will be on CBS. We will have our full post-game coverage coming up at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle after that game. So make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Again, youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. Subscribe to that channel. Hit that bell so you get notified when we do our post-game shows. We have tended to be able to, it's always a little dicey when you're on the road, but we have tended to be able to give you live post-game interviews with Ryan Day and some of the Buckeye players, post-game analysis with some of our X's and O's guys, and then a live Buckeye Weekly instant reaction show after the show as well with Tony and Kevin and I. So lots of coverage coming for you this weekend as the Buckeyes get ready to kick off the 2023 season. I'm a little excited. Football is almost here. The long off season is finally over. Hooray, we have made it. And Buckeye football coming in just a few days. So hope you guys enjoy that, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of our coverage at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Lots of coverage coming at you this week. Just saw that Kevin Noon just finished his Tale of the Tape, which is always an encyclopedic look at the upcoming game, the opponent, so you know everything you need to know about the Buckeyes, the Hoosiers, how they might match up, and much, much more. That is just one of the features that is coming up this week at BuckeyeHuddle.com. So also plenty of recruiting coverage from Alex and Mark, X's and O's coverage from our team of scheme gurus, and much, much more, all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.